Good morning to everyone. First of all, I am going to greet the people who are with me on the table. All of them are authorities in their areas of responsibility, but they are mainly friends. First, dear General Director of University Policy and Higher Education of the Government of the Balearic Island, Juan José Montaño, Consular of Culture for Culture, Heritage, Linguistic Policy and Historical Memory of the City of Palma, Mr. Miquel Perelló, Vice-Chancellor for Research and Postgraduate Studies, Dr. Jaume Carot, Joana M, member of our team, HIFES team, member of the department, lecturer in the Department of Pedagogy and Didàctics, Emeritus teacher of the Department of Spanish, Modern and Classic Philology, Dr. Joana M. Seguí Aznar, speaker at this event, students and staff of the VIII International Summer Senior University, this year about literature, music and art in Mallorca. Welcome home. I would like to give you all my warmest welcome to the University of the Balearic Island. We are proud of having been able to organize the 8th edition of this European project with, as you know, many of you know, we started up 80 years ago, and also we are really happy to see some of you again. Our intention, our objective with this summer program is to provide you with new experiences of the culture of our land. A land, Mallorca, very known for the warmth of its climate and the beauty of its beaches, but less well known by the culture that it treasures. As I have told you previously, this year we have organized this edition of the Summer University concerning the culture of Mallorca, in particular the literature, the art and the music, bearing in mind different views and moments of it. Well, friends, in each edition we intend to improve the previous, always keeping in mind the culture of Mallorca in a context of lifelong learning. We hope to provide you with new knowledge and new experiences fruitful for you. During a week, you will be closer to our culture. We will see a little bit of everything, a bit of poetry and prose, a taste of contemporary music, and a bit of classical music. We also have theater and cinema for you. We have not forgotten the art, neither of the great Joan Miró. That is why you are going to see his work in Joan Miró's Foundation. Also, we are going to bring you over the language of the animation, the language of the cartoons as a vehicle for learning. We have a laboratory that we are going to show you. Many things, friends. You are going to know very important and different writers of Mallorca and beyond it, like Baltasar Porcel and Robert Graves. At the end of the day, we firmly believe like this, you will be able to appreciate, respect and love our country as much as we do. I don't want to end up without thanking those people and institutions who help us every year. We appreciate the help given to us by the City Hall of Palma, the Consell de Mallorca and el Corte Inglés, and especially the work of our team, Joan, Barbara, Maria Antonia, Belén, Maria, and also the students, Cristina and Paula, Ronnie, Camille, and Talita, that you are going to appreciate over the entire program. That's thanks also to all the friends we have been able to get during this year, you, the students, our international students. You are going to be part of our university during this week. Enjoy it. You are on holidays. That means getting up early to do exercise and to start the day happy and active. We need you to be active and happy to attend the conferences and workshops, excursions, visiting emblematic areas, and meet your fellows from other countries. You will, as you know, you will make new friends from other countries and learning from them, taking part in and sharing activities. I would like to remind you, as I do every year, for those who do not know, that the official languages in our land are Spanish and Catalan. We use English here in this program as lingua franca to communicate between us at the level each one of you can best achieve. Thus, we are all making an effort. Except the English, of course, and the Scottish. Please take advantage of your stay here to practice your English for the Spanish. Learn as much as you can of Castilian and Catalan for the English and the German. Make many friends and enjoy it, because this is a worthwhile experience and life is really very short. Thank you, friends. Well, now Joana M, lecturer of the Department of Pedagogia and Didàctics, is your turn.
Good morning to everyone. I'm here in representation of the director of our department, Dr. Bernat Sureda, that he apologized for his unattendance, that he couldn't make it. Basically, he wanted to, well, I have here his words, and I will read them. He wants to welcome you to this event. Well, and now it's speech march. Dr. Bernat Sureda, speech march. I wish you have an excellent meeting in this island in the middle of the Mediterranean. The International Summer Senior University Program is a highly valued program of our department. Its director, Dr. Carme Orte, has demonstrated along the different editions her capacity and dedication to this type of activities. Also, the support that we receive from the chancellorship of our university and El Corte Inglés helps us to make this summer senior possible. So finally, Dr. Sureda sent us his best wishes for having an excellent edition of the Summer University.
Thank you so much, Joana M. Now he's going to speak the Councillor for Culture, Heritage, Linguistic Policy and Historical Memory of the City of Palma. Before, I want to, you have to pay attention to the name, Councillor for Culture, Heritage, Linguistic Policy and Historical Memory of the City of Palma. This is very important in Spain, not only in Mallorca, even in Spain. So he's going to speak when you are ready. Miquel Perelló.
Bon dia a tots i a totes. Benvinguts i benvingudes en aquesta universitat i a Palma de Mallorca. I jo recordava fa uns moments que el pintor Joan Miró deia hem de pintar en els peus a terra perquè l'energia de la terra mos arribi a nosaltres. Crec que totes les institucions que fan feina en cultura han de treballar coordinades. És un fet important i la universitat n'és una peça clau d'aquesta coordinació. Aquí a Mallorca, les competències que té el govern balear en tema de cultura, el Consell Insular i els ajuntaments han d'anar d'una mateixa mà. I tira, així com en Joan Miró diu, hem de pintar amb els peus en terra, nosaltres hem de fer feina parlant i escoltant a les persones. Així lograrem tirar uns projectes interessants per millorar la qualitat de vida dels ciutadans. Per tant, enhorabona a l'organització i a vosaltres per ser aquí. Moltes gràcies.
Briefly, I translate to English his words. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Palma and to this edition of the university. First of all, Mr. Perelló wants to quote the painter Joan Miró, that he said, it's important to paint with the feet on the ground, meaning that you will feel the energy of the land through your activity. He carries this quotation for the activity of the entities and organizations and administration that work with culture, in the sense that it is important to carry this energy that comes from the land and apply it to the coordination between the different institutions, the Town Hall of Palma, the Deputy of Mallorca, the Government of the Balearics, the University, which is also a key actor in this process. Also, finally, he added that as Miró, with the feet on the ground, we have to work for a cultural policy, listening and among a dialogue with the people involved. And last, congratulations and have a nice summer university.
Now is going to talk the General Director of University Policy and Higher Education of the Government of the Balearic Island, Dr. Juan José Montaño.
Many thanks. Good morning to everyone. I feel honored to welcome you to VIII International Summer Senior University on the name of the Balearic Islands government. This edition is dedicated to literature, Music and Arts of Mallorca. I have read the program and it looks quite promising, especially due to the high profile and knowledge of the participants on their fields. I hope this event will be a good change for the relationships all of parts. I wish you could visit our island, especially the cultural landscape of the Serra de Tramuntana, which is a World Heritage Site. Finally, I want to thank the team that put together all this act, especially the director, Carme Orte, a great professional and a better friend. She spent all her life forming the elder students holding the banner of the lifelong learning. Thanks very much for listening to me, even my broken English, and I hope you have a nice time in our island. Thank you.
Well, now is going to talk the Vice Chancellor of Research and Postgraduate Studies, Dr. Jaume Carot.
Thanks very much, Carmen. Well, it is for me the time to be institutional. So first, let me begin by saying, dear Carmen, dear Miquel Perelló, dear Joana M, dear Juanjo, Director General for University Policy and Higher Education, dear participants, sponsors, and organizers. On behalf of our rector and on my own behalf, let me extend to all of you a very warm welcome to the University of the Balearic Islands. Welcome also to a land that, beyond the cliché of sea and sun tourism, offers you historic, cultural, and natural heritage of great value. A land that has witnessed the birth of intellectuals of the caliber of Ramon Llull, the poet Joan Alcover, the linguist Francesc de Borja Moll, or the artist Miquel Barceló. It is also the adopted country of great artists such as Robert Graves or Joan Miró, who made their home amongst us. A land which is also looking resolutely towards its future, a future in which knowledge is called to play an essential role. And in all humbleness, but with perseverance, our university is committed to this task. Not in vain, our university has become consolidated as one of the top 10 universities out of 82 to be precise, universities in Spain, in what research quality is concerned. The fact that we are celebrating the 8th edition of the International Summer Senior University is quite remarkable, as it is an expression of both the hard work of the organizers on the one side, special thanks to Dr. Carme Orte, and more important, on the side of the attendees, the curiosity, the willingness to learn and to stay physically and intellectually active all lifelong. Curiosity is one of the characteristics that makes us human, perhaps the most important of all. And it is at the core of knowledge, from its production, that is research, to its acquisition, that is learning. I would like to congratulate you all for your curiosity, for your willingness to learn, for your self-commitment to the above. And I would like to encourage you to stay on this path. This year's topic, literature, music and art in Mallorca, is especially interesting. You will discover what I just hinted at the beginning of this talk. This is a land which has to offer far more than sun, beaches and booze tourism. On a more personal note, I would like to greet in a special way people coming from Strathclyde and Scotland in general. Many years ago, too many already, I spent 2 wonderful years at a Scottish university, further north than Glasgow, and I came to consider Scotland for all what I lived, and I got there as my second home country. Special greetings also to people coming from Germany. I didn't live all that long in Germany, but I maintained a long-term acquaintance with people in Jena, when it still was part of the DDR, and then later on as part of the unified Germany. I keep very, very good memories of that time. Well, thanks to the organizers. I mentioned that already, especially Dr. Carme Orte and Dr. Bernat Sureda and all the Department of Pedagogy and Applied Didactics for their hard work. Special thanks to Dr. Joana M. Seguí Aznar, and my apologies for having to leave before she delivers her interesting lecture. Thanks to the sponsors for their decisive help. Thanks to all of you for making this possible. And last but not least, thank you also to the International Relations Office and its staff, who have greatly contributed to organizing this meeting. And that's all, because it is more than enough. Have fun, have a nice stay amongst us, and let your time and work be very productive in all sorts of ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are going to leave the table, and Joana Maria is coming to give the first lesson. Please. Sí, yo bajo contigo. ¿Dónde quieres estar? ¿Quieres estar aquí? Bueno, no. Mira. Do you have the CV of Joana Maria with you? Then you don't need any other thing that listen.
No, I don't need to be introduced.
You don't need to be introduced. Then I will sit near you.
Or next to me.
No, I will sit.
Right?
You will be better without me.
No. Well, good morning. First of all, to those who, well, I have not anybody sitting next to me, but to the ones who were sitting next to me. And then a very warm welcome to all of you who have been able to attend this inaugural session of the International Senior Summer Course. I am most honored to be with you this morning to talk about Robert Graves, one of the greatest literary figures of the 20th century, and his strong bond with Mallorca. He spent more than 40 years living in Deia, a small village up in the Serra de Tramuntana. Well, I must say that I have to apologize because the quality of the slides, some of them I don't know why, are not very good. I checked it before I came, but then when I make the change, well, everything has changed. You know, the technical devices are a bit tricky. Yes, so as I said, he spent 40 years living in Deia, a small village up in the Serra de Tramuntana, where he produced his vast output: novels, history, mythology, religion, short stories, essays, and over 1,200 poems, as he considered himself a poet above all. He built a house near the village overlooking the Mediterranean, and he called it Canelluny. Canelluny first, but then later on now is written in the way you see here, Canelluny. He lived in this house until his death in 1985. There are so many things to say about Robert Graves, so many anecdotes, so many approaches to his figure, that it's quite a difficult task to summarize his life in half an hour. Anyway, I'll try to highlight the essential aspects. Robert Graves was born in Wimbledon, England, the son of a German mother and an Anglo-Irish father. His father, Alfred Percival Graves, was the son of an Anglican bishop of Limerick, a poet, a school inspector, and father of 5 children from a previous marriage. After his first wife died, Alfred married Amy von Ranke, niece of the famous German historian Leopold von Ranke. Robert was the third of 5 children from Alfred's second family. Robert attended various primary schools and in 1909 started boarding at Charterhouse School. He was a reserved boy, more interested in writing poetry than in playing sports, which made it difficult to get along with his new classmates, who bullied him. As he was tall and strong, a friend suggested he learn boxing, and this helped to change his classmates' attitude, but at the expense of a broken nose. He continued with his poetry, joined a poetry club, and got his poetry published in the school magazine. Among his teachers, there was Mallory, the Everest mountaineer, who created in Robert a love for mountain climbing. In 1914, Graves obtained a scholarship to study classics at Oxford, but the outbreak of the First World War changed his plans. He volunteered with the Royal Welsh Fusiliers and was sent to the front in France. In the trenches, Graves met other poets, such as Siegfried Sassoon and Wilfred Owen. In April 1916, he published his first collection of poems, Over the Brazier. In July of the same year, 4 days before his 21st birthday, Graves was severely injured by a piece of shell in the Battle of the Somme. His family received a telegram communicating his death. Fortunately, this was a misunderstanding, and later on he was found in a field hospital recovering from his physical and psychological wounds. That was the end of the war for him. He finished it with the rank of captain and a shell shock that lasted all his life. Robert Graves married twice. The first time in 1918 to Nancy Nicholson, the daughter of a well-known painter. They had 4 children. The second time to Beryl Pritchard, nearly 20 years younger than him, and with whom he had 4 more children. In between the 2 marriages, he had an important, long, and productive relationship of 12 years with the American poet Laura Riding. It was with her with whom he arrived in Mallorca in 1929, following the suggestion Gertrude Stein made to them when they went to visit her in France, coming away from England after a painful domestic crisis. Gertrude has just spent a few months in Palma, in El Terreno, with her friend Alice Toklas. Both consider Mallorca as paradise if you could stand it. Probably for her, the island was too quiet compared with their hectic life in Paris. But for Graves and Riding, it was just what they were looking for, somewhere far from gossip and literary circles, and according to Graves' own words, a place, I'm quoting, a place where town was still town, and country, country, and when the horse plow was not yet an anachronism. It is true that his reasons for choosing the island were purely practical. It had a good climate, it was cheap to live in, and sufficiently large so as not to feel claustrophobic. The village gave him what he needed in order to carry out his work as a writer. In other words, sun, sea, water springs, shady trees, no politics, electric light, and a bus service which took him to Palma, the capital city. But when in August 1936, he had to leave the island due to the Spanish Civil War, he left it with the Granville. The years he spent wandering around Europe and America turned into a real forced exile for him, accompanied by a nostalgic and heart-rending feeling of being away from home. This was only calm when he arrived in Son Bonnet, then the airport of Palma, in the first plane that was allowed to land there after the war in 1946. He was welcomed by his friend Gelad with tears in his eyes. Gelad took him back to his house, Canellun, in the only taxi of the village. Robert found the house as he had left it in 1936, and he never again moved away from there except for work. Here, in Canayun and in Deià, he wrote his prose and the poems when they came, tended the garden, chopped wood, made marmalade using his mother's recipes, and swam in the cove. He followed this routine all his life. He even briefly hand-printed 3 small collections of poems with the Albion, bought with the earnings from the biography of his friend T.E. Lawrence, titled Lawrence and the Arabs. Soon, Canayun became a center of attraction for young poets, writers, and artists who visited Graves to work with him on his and Laura projects. Among others, the poet Norman Cameron, Alistair Reid, Jacob Brunowski, Honor Wyatt, and Len Lai. Many others came for literary advice, such as Alan Silito, who lived quite near Deià in a small village near Sóller called Fornalutx. Laura was the central figure and leader of the group due to her strong character. Eventually, the village people thought that the important writer was Laura and that Robert was the servant, because he was always seen doing the shopping and looking after the house. Later on, they began to think that he had overtaken Laura in literary merit. But this status as a famous writer was not really recognized by his neighbors until I, Claudius was shown on Spanish television in the 70s. When Graves arrived in Deià, his neighbors remember him as a very tall man, elegant in spite of the eccentric way he dressed, and accompanied by a rather ugly woman dressed in green velvet. They were the first foreigners who came to live in the village, and therefore they aroused curiosity not only because of their appearance, but also because of the things they had, as for example, a typewriter, an unheard of gadget for the locals. The locals did not know yet that he was important. They saw him a special and daring man because he paid his bills and bought land with Gelat, the cacique of the village, and one of his first and closest friends in Deià. The fact he had money was a point in his favor in the eyes of the village. However, they did not understand that eccentric and slovenly way of dressing because it didn't fit in with the idea of gentry and formality that the local people had. That's why they were surprised by the interest that he aroused. He was visited by a minister of Franco, famous actors, politicians, etc. Nevertheless, he was treated as just another neighbor in the village. He used to have a cognac with the carpenter or bricklayer when they bought him their bills. He knew his neighbors and all the details of their lives. They knew him as el señor de Canayun and addressed him as Don Roberto. They thought he was an important person because of the many letters he wrote and telegrams he sent. In the 60s, thanks to his connections in Madrid, electricity arrived in Deià, and therefore he was named Hijo Adoptivo de Deià, a very dear distinction to Graves, along with the Gold Medal of Poetry awarded by Queen Elizabeth II in 1968. The vast output written in Mallorca starts with Goodbye to All That, an autobiographical novel where he talks about his war experiences and says goodbye to Puritan Victorian England. And among many others, I would mention The Golden Fleece, I, Claudius. He wrote it to pay off the mortgage of Canayun in 1934, the Greek myths, the Hebrew myths, the White Goddess, his seminal work on poetry, and the Mallorcan short stories, part of his many short stories. From the 60s onwards, he began to lose his great capacity for work. The nightmares from the war came back, and a long illness isolated him until his death on December the 7th, 1985. As just another neighbor of the village, the men of Deia carried his coffin on their shoulders up to the cemetery in Deia, where he's buried in a simple grave. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ana Maria. I enjoy very much, I suppose the students too.
I hope so.
I didn't know Robert Graves was bullied.
When he was a child.
I didn't know.
Yes, it seems so, yes, because on those days, sport was very, you had to be quite good in playing sport, and he didn't like it at all. He preferred to write poetry. It was boxing who saved him. The same like Hemingway. Hemingway.
He was also bullied.
I don't think Hemingway was bullied, but he preferred also writing, and he was quite an isolated man.
But you know, I work with bullying in my normal work. Then I was thinking, when she was talking about that, I was thinking, maybe it will be important to know what happens with the people who has been bullied, like these people, no? Important people that they dedicate their life to write or to study or to do research. Who knows? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sant Martí, com hi fa sol.